encouraging was to get things rolling in the last game, and how did the bye week help even more?
Well, it was good. You know, it was good to see Jordan come out, and after a couple of drives, he was a little shaky there early, but he got the nerves out. I think when he hit the big throw to Johnny down the middle for the touchdown there in the third series, he really got comfortable. And yet he's still, you got to remember, this kid hasn't played a lot of football. And so he's got a lot of areas that we felt like we need to get better in these last couple of weeks. A lot of areas we need to improve in to be more consistent. There was so many drives out there that we left points on the field the other night. In the conference game, we got to be a lot more consistent if we're going to score the kind of points we need to score to win these conference games.
What did you see out of him after those first two drives? You hear that he's a very poised young man. What did you see in him?
Well, I think he has that it factor. You know, even though he's not a very experienced guy, you know, he don't turn the ball over. He seems to just make subtle plays that you see from an experienced guy. And it's really, I think it goes back just that feel for the game, that it factor. The touchdown throw, you know, he had pressure in his face. Instead of flushing out and running or throwing it to underneath or something, he steps over real quietly with his feet and keeps his head down the field, makes a throw, a 40-yard throw for a touchdown. Those little things there is just sort of an it factor that you have, a feel for the game. He has that. Now we just need to gain that experience for him to be able to go out and be consistent and do the things we ask him to do to be really explosive in this offense.
You mentioned Johnny Ford earlier. I mean, receiver, rusher, he's doing big things. How nice is that to have in your offense, somebody that versatile?
Well, he's definitely got a lot of ability, and we try to get him the balls a lot of ways. We feel like he's a dynamic kid. We got some other kids got to step up, and we got to get our running game going. We really studied that this past week during our open week. We looked back at the last three games, and hey, is there some things that maybe we need to do as a coaching staff to play to our strengths with our running back and with our offensive line? Maybe we need to change a few things. And we've looked at some things. We've asked our guys to really, we gave each section of our offense two things we need to work on to be better. Our quarterback, here's two things we got to get better if we're going to win in the conference. Here's two things offensive line you got to get better at. We really harped on that the last 2 weeks, and hopefully that will show this Saturday.
You've told us all along, Kerwin, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes this offense time. I went back and looked at your first two games at Valdosta. Y'all really struggled offensively. And then game 3 started clicking. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, the big thing about this system is there's so much to think about. There's so many personnel groups, so many plays.
Yeah.
We run different plays every week, and that's who we are. That's what Coach Strong wanted when he brought me here. So now these guys have got to get to the point where they're not thinking. Mm-hmm. When the play is called, we line up fast. We play off reaction, and I'm starting to see that. I started to see that before the last game. I really see it in this off week. And that's when you get to that point where the guys, you can tell when the play's called, there's no thinking. They just go line up and they go play. Then you play faster and you play looser, and you go make the plays that are there. And I'm just hoping that's this week that we're ready to go do that.
Is that what happened at Valdosta in year 1? Because it looks like they went from there to there real quick.
Well, it is. It's happened probably everywhere because, again, this is a pro style. This is a complex system where it's not 8 or 10 plays. We're not staying in one formation. Yeah. Receivers don't stay on one side of the field. They have to move around. They have to think. They have to, really use their mind. And a lot of times you overthink. Then you play slower. You play a little timid, When you start seeing it free flow and guys just go and react, that's when the system can be really good. And I'm starting to see signs of that. I think Jordan, just his ability to, again, have that great feel for the game, I think is bringing that to the table. And hopefully we'll continue to grow in that area. And this week's a good week to start. We got to score points. In this conference, you got to score points. We got to be consistent. We got to get a balanced attack. So all those things, we know what we got to do. We've worked on it. We've studied it. We've changed some things in our run game that we think is going to help us. We're trying to do everything we can to make sure we go out and give our team the best chance, and we got to score some points on offense.
I talked to McDoom yesterday, and he said the positive thing that everybody gets that it's a process. Nobody's complaining. I mean, what do you think of the players?
Well, I love it. One thing about these guys, they love the system, and they believe. They've been in other systems, and man, they had never doubted this thing. Every one of them says, Coach, we know this thing can take off. So they know that they see it. They watch film. We show them, hey, if we do it this way, look how open you are. Look how big a play this is. So they see the possibilities. They see what's there. Now we just got to go execute at that level to get it there. And so that's the fun part is these guys have really bought in. They've been in a lot of other systems. They believe in this one. They know this system's got a chance to be great. Now we got to go show that on the field.
Did your O-line grade out better last game after sliding Billy back in and Donovan back out?
Yeah, well, in the competition, you're playing a little bit different, but no, I think that's a better fit for us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's big for us. I think Donovan feels a lot more comfortable out there. And listen, we've challenged Billy and Marcus, it's two seniors. They not only got to step up, they got to be leaders up there. We got to dominate that offensive line if we're going to win in this conference. And we got to dominate that line of scrimmage. We're not doing that. Even against the FCS opponent, we didn't do it the way we need to. So we got a lot of room. That's what we looked at the last 2 weeks. What can we do in our running game to help us, help them, help our running backs? Because we got to go out and start establishing the line of scrimmage with our run game. And then we got the play action. Then we got everything else in our arsenal, the screen game. Everything else will come into play, and now you become an explosive system. And now listen, I'm not going to bang my head. I told guys, listen, I'm not going to bang my head if they play too many guys in the box. We're going to throw the football. We got to make plays in the throw game. But we're going to be a team that's dynamic. We don't believe that. I know this team will get there, and we're going to continue to work at it until we get to that spot, and hopefully that starts this week.
What do you see at SMU's defense? What are they doing well?
Well, listen, they've got a lot of transfers, so they look pretty on film. They got some good D1 transfers, some Power 5 transfers. Man, they're long, they're athletic. Their front, they got a defensive end, number 35, who's very 6'5", 250, really athletic kid. They move him around. Their nose is really active and makes a lot of plays for them. And then, their secondary corners run really well. So we've got our work cut out for us now. Listen, this is going to be a big challenge for us. A step up from 2 weeks ago. I know where we need to be. That's why I wasn't real, I was excited about what we did and our kids having success, but I know where we need to go. We're a long ways from there. Even though we scored 55, we're rolling right. We should score 80, 2 weeks ago. So we're a long ways where we got to go. These 2 weeks, we've really studied and worked on that. We got a big time opponent. These guys can play now. This ain't the old SMU team last year or two. These guys have upgraded. They got some talented players, and we got to go play at a high level to win this football game.
What do you think of your own defense? These guys are giving you guys the ball back pretty often these days.
You know what? And the funny thing about it, a lot of teams, there's a characteristic that sort of rises up each year. You don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully this continues to be this on our defense, which is get turnovers. Because then it just helps your defense. It helps us tremendously with short fields. Man, if we can continue to be that kind of team on the defense, this just will help everybody that's a part of it, and especially our offense, because it gives us short fields. It gives us opportunities to play downhill. And when we do that, now we can be a really explosive team. And so, man, they've done really well. Last week was a big time game for them. And hopefully we can just continue to build, not only defensively, but offensively in our special teams game. Because, again, we're going against a very good football team to open up this conference schedule this Saturday.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.